Good morning, fish keepers. Cam here from the fish room and John from Love Fish Keeping. How are we all doing? We've made it to Friday.
Well.
Let's do coffee.
It's coffee. It's been a long day, so I thought I'd join you in the coffee drinking tonight.
I was going to say it's a bit weird for you drinking coffee this time of the day.
Yeah, well, it's hot chocolate coffee. Seems it's a hybrid.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, this is coffee number 4 for me, so I'm living on the edge right now. So it's a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So before we get too deep into anything we're going to talk about, I want to go through a bit of quick admin. So it's not even admin, it's more of a promotion. Anyway, the aquarium awards are finished, and because of which we're running a site-wide sale, 20% off both online and in the shop. Finishes at midnight on Sunday, so get yourself your fill of all sorts of goodies. It's literally site-wide. Everything that is available we have on 20% discount, so get amongst it if you're looking for some aquarium stuff. That is the only promotional type stuff that I wanted to talk about, and other than that, I've got a book of stuff or page of stuff to talk about, but that's the only sales type stuff. So yeah.
Okay, let's get on with it.
Yeah, Brian's brought up the Black Caps. How good? Real good. That was a good score. Didn't see the game. Totally forgot the World Cup started, but we'll take it. So yeah, happy with that. Cool. All right. So if you have been following us on any other platform, actually including this platform, you'll know that the Aquarium Frenzy podcast is due out today. So it's the episode that we spoke to Jacob Thompson from Thompson's Aquatics, and it was based around pufferfish. So if you have any interest in pufferfish, that'll be released on our Spotify Aquarium Frenzy podcast account. Is that the right words? So that comes out, I think it's being released at 10 o'clock this morning after this is finished. So yeah, that's a good time. It was really informative, lots and lots of information about puffers. So if they're your jam, I'm sure you'll get something out of it. You might have seen us chucking up shorts on YouTube and TikTok and even Instagram Reels and Facebook Reels with it recently. So yeah, that's awesome. It was fun, very informative. So yeah.
Pufferfish are one of those fish, aren't they? That it's very chalk and cheese. People love them, or people just don't want anything to do with them. And it's not that they hate them; it's that I find that people are really put off by them for some reason because of the whole toxic kind of myth.
A little bit. How do I feed them? How do I keep them? What can I keep with them? Definitely a bit of a commitment because often they are a species only type tank, and you go, oh, will I get bored of just one fish in the tank sort of thing? So so we're very limited on puffers of what we can get down here as well. There's only a small handful that are in the country as well. So
I was admiring a friend's aquarium today that had Amazon puffers in it. They're almost little ones, but they're really nice. They're like pea puffers, but big as opposed to they're really cool.
I've always been kind of interested in pea puffers, but not totally interested in pea puffers. So I've got a weird shape, weird gap in the shop. It's 880 or something like that, so it's not big enough for a standard 900 aquarium.
Right.
So it's just got a wee stand in there with some plants on it at the moment. So may or may not end up being a little small puffer tank in some time because it makes kind of sense to do that. But it's just a weird little spot that I'm thinking about playing around with, and they small pea puffers would suit that little space quite nicely. So,
if I get a little terrarium like that.
Yeah.
That'd be quite cool.
Yeah. It's I tried a few things to fill in the space, like take the skirting boards off and everything, but there's an air conditioning unit that just clearly won't budge. It's only about this much too close to the wall to make anything logical, but unfortunately, so $100 each for pea puffers. That's expensive. In saying that, fish prices are all determined on what's available and what's not available, whatever area you are. So like we're about $20 for pea puffers, which is quite a fair price.
Yeah,
but I'm sure there's
each year.
Yeah, I'm sure there's fish over there that are dirt cheap that are stupidly expensive here as well. So it all depends on availability and import laws and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Cool. Next week's guest, I'm struggling to read my writing, so this is going to be a really fun thing. Next week's guest, we're speaking to a couple of people from Tropical, the food producers over in Europe. So we've recently taken on the Tropical food brand, mainly in the soft line range and the probiotics range are the ones that we carry. So it'd be very interesting to talk to them about their process of manufacturing food, what goes into it, the research and that kind of stuff. So if anybody has any questions regarding, in particular, their brand, but in particular of any fish food manufacturing processes and stuff like that, please feel free to put them in the comments or send us a private message, something along those lines, or an email, and we'll be sure to get them into the live as well. I'm quite looking forward to that. I enjoy talking to people that are in the commercial trade of the industry when it comes to manufacturing and stuff like that, because it's always interesting to see how the mind works and why they've manufactured stuff and how they've done it and all that kind of stuff, as opposed to like a hobbyist and why we as hobbyists use products and try products and stuff like that. So yeah. And yes, I cool put the same one up. Yeah, I saw that they sold them for $400. So I guess first time round being available in the country for not for a very long time. You know what I mean? 6 fish with a breeding setup. It's not a bad return.
No, hopefully they're successful.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, owners can spawn them and then move them on, and maybe within 18 months or 24 months or something like that, they become just a normally common Danio around again.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's also really cool that someone's been willing to put up that sort of money to try and further them as well. Like, because let's face it, there are fish that so many people want here, and it's just so hard to get. Have been basically non-existent for so long. It's amazing they're back. So it's great that someone's been willing to put that money up as a return for someone that's put the effort in to get them going again. So
what's amazing as well is that somebody's maintained a population of them somewhere in New Zealand the entire time, and they've managed to keep that colony going and share it. 2
people, from my understanding, 2 or 3 people. Like someone had a male and someone had a female, and then they were the middle people that said, "Let's put them all together and let's make some babies." So that's my understanding. Either way, it's very cool that has happened, and
definitely,
if one of those people that had a male ended up not having the male the next morning, then this isn't happening. So, that's pretty cool. I was watching Dan's Fish did a little profile on them. Must have been quite recently. So Dan's obviously been on with us maybe 6 months ago, and he did a wee profile on them. I wasn't aware that they were only discovered in 2006. So
really?
They are fairly new fish to be described, which is kind of cool. And then there was a few arguments on, there's a few arguments on what genus they were in and all that kind of stuff. So it was pretty cool that they're a very new fish to be discovered to the world, and they're obviously a very new fish in the grand scheme of things for aquariums to be, 15 years old basically, but they're beautiful fish.
That's what I love about this hobby. There's still new things being discovered. Constantly, and it just keeps on giving. Every year there's new fish coming out, new morphs. It's just brilliant. I love it.
Yeah. You can totally understand why the CPDs are such a popular fish in the aquarium. Stay small, lots of different avenues with them, with coloration, You know, you got colours, you got spots, you've got like there's just they're cool
But the
fish.
thing, even from a very small size, the marking on them is vivid. It's not something that just appears in adulthood. It's, you know, right from maybe 7 or 8 mil. You can see those dots. They're brilliant.
Something I've got my fingers very tightly crossed for, because obviously there's a lot of people that are after CPDs, but I'm hoping because there's a bit more conversation going on about CPDs, there'll be people looking to slightly different Danios as well, maybe down the glow light Danio range, because I think glow lights are phenomenally cool, and they're really
slightly
cool.
bigger as well, I think, aren't they?
Yeah, and a bit higher in the body, and they've got orange markings and stripes. Like they're really cool fish and super underrated. So, hopefully with this bit of a breakthrough that they've achieved, there might be a bit more chat on different Danios about, and people might sway away from, well, not so much sway away, but look into other ones that aren't just zebras, pearls, and leopards. So we'll see how we go.
Yeah, I seen some really big Daniels today. Must have been huge, about 8 centimeters almost. I've never seen them that big before. It's quite taken aback.
Were they giant Danios?
They must have been zebra Daniels, but obviously large.
Yeah, cool, very cool fish. I just love how active they are. They don't sort of stop. So
no, they never stop. The only fish that's been to space as well.
Huh. Look at that. Things you know. What do we got here? Nothing wrong with sampling the products he's selling. Oh. You're talking about me eating fish food. What do we here? In case of the Danny, it's got to wonder what else is out there. Oh, there'd be all sorts of stuff that are hanging around. I would like to think there was maybe 8 years ago or so, there was a whole lot of various African cichlids that came in, a lot of Altolampricus and stuff like that. There was groups of them hanging around everywhere, so I'm very much hoping that they will be around somewhere, whether it's in ones or twos, but that'd be cool if some of them got reunited. And it's the same with plecos. There's a lot of various plecos that come in misidentified or what have you. They'll be just hanging around in people's tanks. It'll be cool to see some of them get put together. So it's definitely a thing that does happen. And it'd be nice if some of these fish that are here kind of get reunited with males and females and reproduced and whatnot. So yeah. Cool. Right, so this week we're releasing some new fish from out the back. We've got Bolivian rams that are coming through, which are rock solid. They've been really nice fish. They're good to go. Cherry barbs, rosy barbs, standard white cloud minnows. We've got some very nice mollies coming through, which have been locally bred. They're strong as an ox, which is great because sometimes mollies aren't quite like that. A lot of platies, a lot of swordtails, some zebra danios, and my favorite of the lot, green neon tetras. Again, a super cool fish. So they were meant to have all come out on Wednesday this week, but I've been far too busy to actually do anything with them. Prepared and planned where they're going, and printed off the labels for them, but I haven't managed to actually move them. So over the next little while, hopefully today, I'll get around to move some fish around, and we'll have some more fish available on the website and in the shop. Next week there'll be some more fish being released. The week after that there'll be some more fish being released. The week after that. So now most of the in-house quarantine tanks out the back are full. We can begin to run that flow of what I planned. Get fish in, hold them for 2 or 3 weeks, release them, get fish in, hold them for 2 or 3 weeks, release them, and just continue to flow through. So these tanks will get emptied today, get refilled next week, and then we should just be having everything moving along quite nicely, all going to plan. So, hopefully that works the way that I want it to work, and we're away laughing. So,
yeah, a good system once you've got it flowing.
Hopefully,
it will be.
Yeah. So, I've kind of broken the system up into 6 tank chunks. So, try and order 6 species at a time. If that kind of makes sense. So it's one lot gets emptied, next lot gets filled up. That's the top, and then the bottom one does the same thing the next week, and that kind of stuff. Gets a little bit stuffed up when fish get sick and you have to hold on to them a bit longer, or people bring in fish or that kind of stuff. But it seems to be like it working the way it should be. Bringing on school with my embers. I don't know if they'll school together, but I can't see there being an issue between them, to be fair. I have also been quarantining for 3 weeks, not 2 weeks. I'm not sure if it's because I had the extra tank space. I thought I'll just do an extra week on these, or another reason we're trying a different supplier and I just want to be an extra bit cautious. But
yeah,
we have been holding fish for 3 weeks, not 2 weeks. So
that's paying
3
off
weeks.
though, isn't it?
Yeah, 3 weeks seems to be able to work fine. I think the odd person gets a little bit frustrated with waters and fish and you can't have it for a couple of weeks. But what's 3 weeks on compared to 2 weeks? So, but yeah, seems to be working okay with the 3 weeks. And now that, like I said, all the tanks are full and we're just rotating through, it shouldn't be any much of an issue as far as holding fish in stock. So we'll see. We'll see how we go with that. So yeah.
It's better having a healthy fish than a fish that's been rushed through and it's not acclimatized properly as well. So
swaying towards the more time is better. What's an extra week sort of scenario? A little bit more observation, a little more plumping up and colouring up and all that sort of stuff. So we'll see how we go. What's on both your Christmas wish list this year?
I'm wanting a new filter.
You want a new filter?
Yeah, I'm needing a new filter for my office aquarium.
Yeah. I've got the same thing on my list that I have every year. I want to see the Warriors win the NRL Grand Final.
Haha.
Next year's our year. It's coming home. Woo! Up the wires. So fingers crossed that's what I get for Christmas this time next year. We'll see how we go.
Yeah. We can all hope.
Yeah, I'm pretty simple. Other than that, I'm happy to get a new pair of socks. So I'm good to go for another year.
Yeah. You get older, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Because if it's on your Christmas list and you get it, it's because you bought it.
Yeah. Well, it's like, what do I want that I couldn't buy myself? Probably fish. So I'm taking work home with me again. So, and like I said to the kids, I want fish, for example. They're not going to know what to buy me. So yeah, just socks will do me just fine, thank you.
Yeah.
I tried to take up golf about a month and a half ago, but I still haven't managed to get out onto the golf course yet. So can't say give me some golf balls. So
still got the first ones.
Yeah. And it's not because I haven't wanted to. I had planned on taking Wednesday afternoon off to go play golf, leave the phone in the car, and just kind of get fresh air, turn the heat off, and that kind of thing. But like 2 of the Wednesdays, it's rained, and then I've had meetings that I haven't been able to get out of, and random, having to kids with school holidays. It just has not worked out the way that I'd planned for it to do. So, unfortunately, maybe next week I'll have a game of golf on a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, well, the weather's going to be getting better for you now as well, so you've got that running in your favour.
Yeah. Also, I cooked my shoulder and my hip and another couple of parts of my body during pre-season of cricket training. So I'm not sure if swinging a golf club is going to do all that well for those injuries either. So
it'll make or break you.
Yeah. I've already. I'm pretty well broken, so it'll either make me or it'll really destroy me. So we'll see how we go. Yeah. Cool. So over last weekend, I also set up a whole bunch of new aquariums. If you are following us on where have I showed that off TikTok? If you're following us on TikTok, you will have seen that we've set up another 10 aquariums at the back here. So they are predominantly going to be for species-only breeding tanks. So they were all set up and watered in, botanicals in, filters in, and fish in as well. So I put in pygmy cories, panda cories, sterbies, julii, and then I'll put a few cichlids into some of the slightly bigger tanks. So I've got some Bolivian rampere, a T-bar here, and golden nanocarp here. So hopefully we get a little bit of spawning action from them. I've got 2 2 tanks empty. One I'm going to put the white tuxedo platies that came in a couple of weeks back in there because they're gorgeous, and I would like to have a constant supply of them. And I'm going to put some hillstream loaches in there as well because I think they're quite interesting fish, and I wouldn't mind just having a wee play around with them. And I've never kept them myself, so it'd be interesting to just observe them and see their behaviours and go with that. So I thought I'd chuck them into one of the tanks as well.
Nice one. I like hillstream loaches. They're different. They're like little miniature plecos, but butterfly-ish. They're just bizarre little things.
Yeah, so I've actually avoided carrying them because they're, well, my light went out. They are so incredibly hard to catch out of an aquarium, and it just frustrates me. So I went, no, I'm not going to carry them. But I thought I would watch them because there's plenty of people that like them. So if I just watch them for a little bit, observe them, maybe fall in love with them, there might be a fish that we continue to carry, and I'll just deal with them being ridiculously hard to catch. So, yeah.
So have you fallen in love with them? Or is it
well, they're kind of cool. They are kind of cool. They're still just in the quarantine setup yet, so just in a glass box with nothing major yet. So the tank I've set up's got a lot of rounded rocks in it. So I'm curious to sort of see how they interact with the rocks and the hardscape and all that sort of stuff as well. Trying to mimic their waterways to an extent, but not completely.
Yeah.
But yeah, just interesting to see how that plays out, and give it 6 months. I might be absolutely in love with them. Give them 6 months, and I might hate them and will never stock them. So, yeah.
You may still have them in 6 months because you've not been able to catch them.
99% sure that is exactly what's going to happen. So I did notice in the group there's definitely 2 different species of them in there. There's spotty ones and there's stripy ones. So I assume they've all come in under the same name. I know this is a really common thing with the hillstream loaches, is that they come in all sorts of variants all the time. So yeah, they're just listed as whatever they're listed as, and yeah, lots of different things coming in and coming out. So I might even separate the stripy ones to the spotty ones to keep them to themselves. So we'll see how we go. Also, if you've been following us on TikTok and what have you, I'll give you my opinion on the slow-growing beetroot root plants in a minute or so. If you've been following us again on TikTok, and I think I might have shared it on Facebook as well, we're moving ourselves, John's aware of this, but we're moving ourselves from retailing to commercial breeding. Obviously, we're still going to be retailing. That's where we are a shop. But the reason we moved into this building nearly a year ago is because I wanted to produce my own aquatic plants and produce my own fish. So over the last week or so, we've taken those steps into doing that a little bit more. And part of that is separating all the fish into broodstock and stuff like that. So that's going to be a really interesting learning curve for me. And yeah, going from just a hobbyist to then a retailer and to now what I want to be a commercial breeder is a very interesting mindset shift. And
so that will run parallel to the retail side of things as well, though, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So like instead of ordering fish on such a regular basis, I'm hoping to be able to supplement what we're doing with breeding stuff. We bred the glow light tetras a couple of weeks back, and we spawned a few cories a couple of weeks back, and that sort of stuff. So that's the mindset there. It's not that we are leaving the retail side of it whatsoever. It's one to be able to producing our own fish so we can control what we've got in stock and how often we've got it in stock and the size and the quality.
More sustainability, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's just one little thing, don't need the trucks, don't need the couriers and all that kind of stuff. So it's just less plastic bags. It's just more things along that in sort of aligning where we want to go. So obviously we're still going to need to buy fish. Put a video up on TikTok today regarding like L2 and plecos. I just can't seem to get them past this stage. So there's going to be fish that just don't work, just won't spawn, that we're going to need to continue to buy to supply people as well. But that's kind of where I'm wanting to go with everything. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to share that journey with everybody as I learn about things, documenting things and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes in 6 months' time, if I've still got all my hair or if I've gone crazy because I can't make things work. Like of all things, I'm struggling with cherry barbs at the moment. So I thought I'd prep the females quite nicely, but apparently not. So I didn't see anything in the last 2 days. So I'll separate the females from the males again, and we'll give that another go next week. So yeah. So I thought after the glow light spawned, oh, this is money for jam. I can do everything. Actually, I didn't think that. I knew that was just going to be, might have just been a lucky break, but yeah. So cherry barbs just struggling along, and we'll see how we go.
Yeah, no, just all you can do is just keep trying.
Yeah, different methods as well. So I'm using coconut fiber for the cherry barbs. That might not be what they want to be working in. There might be too much. There might not be not enough. So I'll get some spawning mops in there with them next time. Maybe see if that makes any difference. So yeah, just starting with the easier fish and then moving along from there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I suppose it's keeping an element of the hobby with yourself as well. While focusing on the retail, it takes away the hobbyist element of what you're doing. But you come back to fish breeding, and it's taking it back to being a hobbyist at the same time. That's
absolutely.
That's more from a personal enjoyment element.
Yeah, interestingly enough, because I've never ever been interested in spawning fish, I want to get a new tank, map out the hardscape, the plant layout, and do all of that, setting it all up, letting it grow in for 3 to 6 months, and then go, I've had enough of this, pull it apart and try something different. That's the display side of things is where I've found my interest in keeping aquariums. So this is it's a totally new avenue altogether for me in the industry. So yeah, that itself is quite an interesting mindset change and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it'll be fun, and I'm sure I'll be asking plenty of questions from plenty of people as we learn along the way. So yeah, so I think that's why I enjoyed setting up the Frontosa tank and the clownloach tank not long ago, the last couple of weeks. Just that's my interest in the hobby, is setting up display tanks and having them looking really good and really, really nice, and then getting bored, I suppose, and moving on to another one. Yeah.
It's a good thing about having a shop because you've got lots of tanks to do that with.
Yeah. I'm trying really, really hard that when we set up a display tank in the shop, they stay like that and no changes. The only change I've done from the display tanks is I've removed the lupi out of one and put some shellies in instead, because I just thought the lupis weren't quite doing a very good job as a display fish. But I try to, once they're in, and leave them at that for some period of time. So yeah. Out the back, on the other hand, that's all fair game. That's all my playground. So yeah.
How's things coming along with the plants as well? Like, how are you coming along with growing out plants?
Yeah, better now that it's getting a little bit warmer. I think the winter was very much a learning. Okay, so this hasn't quite worked over these months. How can I improve that for next time around? I'm on the fence about whether I grow plants only immersed or if I grow them only submersed, or a mixture of both. I don't think I will be able to supply the amount that we sell just submersed. I don't think that is probably possible.
Right.
Which is why I've gone with immersed as well. But that being said, do enough of them, then it should be okay. So yeah. Struggling a little bit with some stem plants immersed. Red pine seems to be a bit of a struggle, but I think that's a temperature thing. Because I've grown red pine immersed in a greenhouse over a summer, and it just went absolutely crazy. So I'm assuming it's just been a temperature thing. I had a whole tray of bulbitis that I think I either cooked it with the lights being too strong, or I didn't have enough moisture in there. Either way, they dried out a little bit. Right. So we're talking a fairly large tray, quite a few plants. But I've they didn't die, they just dried significantly up. So I've put more water in them, changed the light on them, and they're coming back slowly. So hopefully that's okay. But yeah,
that's usually quite a tough plant, so I have faith that it will bounce back quite well.
yeah. Like I said, they didn't die for sure. They are just a bit crispy and not looking so good. So yeah, Java fern again, I'm struggling with. I don't know if I'm chemically burning it with fertilizers or whether it's being too dry in there. So again, these are all learning things. I've grown plenty of plants immersed in a greenhouse. There's no issues with that. I've grown a lot of random crypts and just various dirts and stuff like that, and no issues there. But to do this on a commercial scale, the way I'm looking at it has been a bit tricky, and it might be that I need to take hobby glasses off and put commercial glasses on instead. So
yeah.
Anubias is growing fine but slow. Java fern, the needleleaf, and the winterlove is growing fine but slow. So, and I've been playing around with attaching epiphytes to wood. They're growing okay. That's probably been the most slow but the most successful one so far. So
yeah,
I'm probably going to attach a few more of them, get them going, and get them going. So I'd like to be selling. We'll have people the ability. I want that piece of hardscape, and I want that plant on it, and away you go, sort of thing. So
yeah.
I mean,
that's quite a popular approach over here. Having the like anubias wrapped around a bit of wood. I've even seen some people have a sucker on an end of the piece of wood, so you can put it straight on the side of the tank for instant height if you wanted it.
Yeah. I'm thinking about setting up a small, like a do-it-yourself greenhouse type system to try and keep all the humidity in for some of them to see if that improves the growth rate as well. So just a few things to play around with. But as always, I've got about 50 different projects going at once, and I'm struggling to complete one of them.
Yeah.
So,
sounds very familiar.
Yeah, it's definitely a massive negative trait with me. I'll start about 1,000 things and get 3/4 of the way finishing it and then starting another one. So it'd be nice if I could start something and then finish it and start something and finish something, but we'll see how we go.
Life would be too easy if we could do that.
I blame my mother. She does exactly the same thing. So yeah, that's with that chat. Rochelle mentioned needleleaf Java fern just then. We have had a lot of needleleaf Java fern come in this week. We've got about 15 or so units available on the website for sale, which is on special as well at the moment. And I've probably got about 50 or so units sitting out the back that I need to grow in a little bit more or attach to wood like we were just talking about. So like a massive clump sitting out the back that I'm going to fiddle around with. So I figured it's a good time at any to attach them to some wood and let them grow for 6 months and see how we go. So needleleaf Java fern is probably one of my favorite Java ferns. I think it's really pretty. It's a really nice plant. Yeah. I like, because it obviously grows just as intense as most Java ferns, but because it's a little bit thinner, it just gives a bit more texture, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you get a lot more movement as well.
Yeah, proportionately, it doesn't overfill like broadleaf Java fern does. So yeah,
I find as well with the needleleaf, you tend not to get as many babies growing halfway up leaves and stuff.
Yes, it's a nice look. Yeah. So yeah, plenty of that available, and like I said, I'll be playing around a little bit with that, growing a little bit more, even trying different growing media. Like I've got plenty of potting soil here, and I've got those clay balls as well. So far, it seems like the epiphytes prefer to be growing in the clay balls, but I'll try them in some soil and see how that goes. So it's all learning and trying to work out which works out best. And yeah,
it's all part of the game.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Glowlight fry are growing quite nicely. I only saw 2 or 3 to start with, but there's way more than that in there now, which is really cool. Again, this is all learning, so still on green water. It's been about 10 days now, so green water and brine shrimp in the evening is what they're getting. So yeah, I've first time spawning glow light tetras ever. So this is a fun and interesting adventure and journey for me as well.
Definitely. I had somebody that grew or that spawned a similar tetra. I can't remember which ones it was, but they just poured marbles in the bottom of the aquarium,
Yeah,
like maybe that deep marbles, and that was it. And let them spawn.
yeah,
And obviously, with the way they scatter the eggs, they get down, and there's plenty of space in between. It's almost like a breeding
yeah, yeah,
container, but just marbles.
yeah. Yeah,
That's
I looked into that, but I couldn't find any marbles when I was looking around for some at the time. They'll turn up. So yeah, I just used coconut husk with these guys, and it seemed to
yeah,
work just fine.
definitely.
So equally, I put Prostella tetras down at the same time, which meant to be really easy to spawn, and I got nothing from them. So go figure. So it is what it is. It's all learning. We'll work it out. So
Do you
seems
guys,
to be visiting.
obviously your seasons are flipped from ours, and we're
Yeah.
just going into winter or autumn, but you're it's springtime just now. So do you find that you get more spawning with corridoras instead of seasonal?
I can't answer that because I haven't tried or I haven't really spawned anything. I have had a few spawns of Corys in the last couple of weeks. Maybe the week before last, so I've got a little bit of Cory fry growing out.
Right.
But last week, I made a very conscious decision to just halt the Corys for a little bit until I've pushed a few more things around. I've set up another 8 small fry tanks. I'm just waiting for the sponge filters to arrive. So once that kind of begins, once that arrives, then I'll make another conscious effort to push and drive with them a little bit because I was running out of space, but I was running out of space at the same time. So they'll just push back a little bit and then just methodically think about it a little bit more behind what I was doing with them. So yeah, again, that's part of the reason why I've separated all of them as well. So I can specifically target those fish to try and spawn those fish. So they will move this week. So I'll give them a little bit of time to settle in and then begin feeding them up on some worms and stuff like that, and then try and kickstart a few spawns.
Cool.
And yet, I would assume the $2 shops have marbles. I've been doing the rounds for other various bits and pieces recently, so I'll start looking in them for marbles as well. Yeah, and congratulations on your African butterfly cichlids. I think it feels like it was only last week we were talking about you've got your African butterfly cichlid, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, a neat wee little bonus. So yeah. Right, what else have I got? Business-wise, Rapashi might arrive today, so we can restock on that. If not, it'll be here on Monday. And we should also have Sarah and New Life Spectrum arriving again maybe this afternoon, possibly next week. And some more fish science. So we stocked up with some goodies. Been I wouldn't say out of stock, but been low on stock on a few of these stuff for a little while. So just needed enough to make up an order's worth, which we have done. So
You guys get those fish science tablets?
What's that one? Treats?
Fish treats with shrimp.
Yeah, we do. Not with that packaging. We're still on the white packaging.
Yeah. That's the first batch I've got with the new packaging. But I remember sampling these, but when they were in development, years ago, and they're the kind of tablets you stick on the front of the glass, but see for photos, for taking like opportunities, no matter what fish you put in there, angelfish, guppies, anything, they just swarm and they're at it for ages. I just love putting them in and taking pictures of them because they're just keeps them in one place, and the way they all just go around, it's brilliant. It's really cool.
Yeah, we carried them for a while, them and the algae ones, but they just didn't move.
Really?
I know a lot of people that use like your stick-on tablets and stuff like that, but for us, they just didn't sell very well, and that goes with like the O-Nips didn't sell very well, and there's another product that's very similar. Like none of those stick-on tablets seem to move that well for us, so we don't carry any of the stick-on type stuff. Novo Tab obviously does, but it's not really used like that, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for some reason the stick-on type tablets weren't all that popular sales wise, so just cut them all out.
Funny. It's funny that.
Yeah.
I mean, over here they're quite popular. One of the big selling points was that I was always told to push was the fact that you can draw your fish to the front of the tank and observe them for injuries and all that kind of stuff. And that seemed to kind of generate quite a bit of response from customers. But yeah, it's interesting how different places have different habits.
And I mean, that might have been me not marketing them properly, not advertising, not showing them off often enough. I'm not sure, but yeah, they just didn't seem to move, or yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just one of those things. Is
a
few products that I've thought, man, these are really good. Fish Science vegetable flakes and the Sarah vegetable flakes, thought they were fairly good products. Couldn't move them for the life of me. So
yeah, the vegetable flakes were good. I remember using them actually.
The JBL vegetable ones, exactly the same thing. So like, we've kind of now aligned ourselves away from specialist stuff, in the sense of them, and more overall all-rounded flakes, overall all-rounded products, and then specializing in like African cichlid foods and the softline tropical foods and that sort of stuff. So geographically specific as opposed to anything else.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does, yeah. So instead of going down the dietary specifics, you're going geographically.
Well, it's still dietary specific as well. Like, I just off the top of my head, I would say that a vast majority, 70-80% of the food we cover or carry is insect-based of some description. There's plenty that's not, but that's where we are pushing most of our food products in towards that. They've got insect-based or a higher quality food base, but not so much like krill flakes or veggie flakes and all that kind of scenario. If that makes a bit more sense. Yeah. So I'm not sure why that worked like that, because Molly's platies, swordtails, they love their greenery and the algae and stuff, but they just didn't move. So it is what it is.
Fish are fickle.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah. Jamie said he used to love the ONIPs and they changed the makeup and they crumble now. I've heard that. I've also been told that doesn't happen by the supplier, but we don't stock ONIPs, so I couldn't tell you. They just don't do anything. So yeah, ended up giving more away than what we did selling. So yeah, that is the last of what I've got on my list. It's all crossed off now, so that's cool. I can put that aside. And happy to sit here and talk about fish with people if that's what we want to do.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I yeah, I agree, and that's more along the lines of where we go with that as well. A lot of the food that we feed here in the shop and out the back is all insect based. Sarah Insect is one that gets fed nearly daily, obviously like brine shrimp, Rapacia Agapo Explorer for the same reason. It's all kind of what aligns with the fish are eating in the wild.
Mm-hmm.
The Fish Science Corridor tablets.
Yeah.
I feed them. They are brilliant.
They are. They stink to high heavens, but they are one of my favourite fish food of all time. Them and the worm pellets.
Yeah. I can't get them in big enough containers to make it worth my while. Yeah. The Corridor stuff. The Corridor stuff I found, like, after a couple of days of feeding that, there always seems to be really plump females and spawns that happen quite regularly after that.
Yeah. There's strange ingredients in the Corridors tablets.
Yeah.
So the cucumber and things. It's really bizarre. But again, that was developed with the help of like really, really good hobbyists done a lot of the developing. So
It was Ian Fuller, wasn't it?
Ian Fuller, yeah.
Yeah.
Peas, spinach, garlic, cucumber, cauliflower. Yeah.
There'll be reasons behind all of them. Cauliflower will provide
I
this
know the
nutrient.
cucumber and the cauliflower was added because people just put cucumber in their tank sometimes.
Yeah.
And it came from that. That's where the idea came from. And I think cauliflower, if I'm correct, cauliflower might have been added because they were trying to attract shrimp to the tablets as well. And a lot of shrimp breeders put, blanched cauliflower in, and it pulls that because it holds under the water, it kept shrimp eating and obviously anything else in the tank as well. So, yeah.
Isn't cauliflower the most boring vegetable in the world?
It depends how you cook it.
No, it's boring no matter how you cook it.
How do you cook it?
Steam it normally. It's just a boring vegetable.
Do you not have cauliflower cheese?
Yeah, but my theory behind that is that you're not really eating the cauliflower for the cauliflower. You're eating the cauliflower for the cheese.
Oh yeah, and roasted cheese on the top, definitely. But it stops it from being boring.
It's the same as Corona. If you've got to put a lemon or a lime wedge in it to make it taste better, it's not a very good beer. If you've got to cover cauliflower in some sort of cheese or covering to make it taste better, it's not that good.
It's nice in the curry as well.
Yeah, I eat it and I have no issues eating it, but man, it is bland and boring. Yeah.
So what have you been grilling anyway recently, Cam? What have you been grilling?
I did a lamb leg 2 days ago.
Nice.
And then I ate some emotional burgers after the Warriors lost their preliminary final a couple of weeks ago as well, which I'm still a bit upset about.
Homemade?
So, yeah. Always. Yeah. Oh, Brian wants a fight. He clearly likes cauliflower.
Oh dear.
Yeah. What's that one got here? A new fish, the best part about a new tank, and the big one, because I'm going to bring it up. I did see that you bought yourself a wee festivum. They're a nice fish. I quite like them. Also quite like diamond tetras. They're also a beautiful fish. So, yeah. What do we got here? Fish Science, I noticed, has garlic in their foods, which is meant to be good for disease and health. I used to swear aquarium was the best food, but I find they are too commercial. Fish Science, I guess I must stop. Yeah, I don't know if the jury's completely out or in about garlic and fish use. I know it's definitely something that's been spoken about for many, many years, using garlic to avoid bits and pieces.
Yeah, it's a stimulant. It's an appetite stimulant, I think. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why Dave added it originally.
Yeah, and I suppose if we look at it like from a human perspective, garlic's really good for us. So you can see that logic. And I sometimes think that people put that logic into the foods that they're feeding their fish, and using the words treat food, because there's no real treat food in the fish world, if that makes sense. It's a treat for us to be feeding them whatever it is, but the fish aren't really receiving the treat, if that kind of makes logical sense. So yeah, it's a little bit interesting, that mindset and what is put into fish food and what we consider good fish food for, because of human-based needs and requirements.
Yeah.
11 till 4:30 we're open on Wednesdays and Thursdays. 11 to 4:30 Monday to Friday, and then 10 till 3 on Saturday is our hours. If that helps. You never know, I might be out playing golf on the Wednesday afternoon, but probably not.
Who's the snob now?
Why? What's wrong with golf?
That's just not my kind of thing.
It's not tennis. Tennis is a snobby sport.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know why. I mean, golf's everywhere in Scotland. Scotland's a home of golf.
Everywhere worldwide.
Yeah.
A simple game of hitting a ball into a tiny little hole is just, in the least amount of strokes you can. Yeah.
Nah.
Hopefully you do manage to pop in, Brian. It'll be fantastic. Coffee machine will be rearing full of coffee beans if you want to have a coffee while you're here.
Nice. Just a little appreciation for our autumn cup, or fall cup as they're now getting called in Britain. Even though that's an American phrase, it seems to have been adopted for people in Britain now as well. I don't know if it's the same over there. People are starting to like, oh, it's fall, it's fall.
Fall makes sense because things are falling off the trees.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Just like spring makes sense because everything is springing up.
Bringing back to life.
Yeah. Yeah. Golf was a spectator sport as exciting as watching paint dry. I agree with you there. I absolutely agree with you. It's up there with watching football and watching tennis. They are just ridiculously boring.
I remember when I was young, my dad took me to the old course in St Andrews for one of the Open tours, and we followed. I can't remember now, but it would have been one of the Scottish or British representatives for the front nine, and oh man, it was horrendous.
Yeah,
it was boring. I was about 10 or 11-year-old, and it was just.
Yeah, I can totally understand that.
So. Can't talk, can't cheer, can't do nothing, and then you've got to go, slowly. When you're told to, because they go, applause.
Really?
Yeah, there's a little man with a little, like a table tennis bat. It goes, and there's another one turns around and goes, shh.
Wicked.
Yeah. It's not Happy Gilmore.
Mushrooms, yes, personally love them. I put one, will be safe. I will give you a 99% chance that it will be safe. Mushrooms are a really interesting thought when it comes to feeding plecos. Rebecca, who we've had on and is often in the chat, speaks about how plecos eats like aquatic sponges and stuff like that in the wild, and the closest to an aquatic sponge is a mushroom. So like it's a like for like scenario, which makes a lot of sense. I've fed mushrooms out a long time ago into a mixed tanks with plecos and other various fish, and there was no issues. So I will give you a 99% chance that you'll be absolutely fine by feeding with your other fish eating mushrooms as well.
What about strawberries? Have you ever fed strawberries to a fish tank? Yeah, because my whistle nose went crazy for a strawberry.
Yeah. I went through a stage where I fed all sorts of random vegetables out to my plecos just to see what they would eat. Pumpkins were fine. Potatoes. Bear in mind, it was a very big tank with a big filter, so there was no real chance of anything spoiling.
Yeah.
Potatoes, kumara, pumpkin all went fine. Mushrooms went fine. Watermelon went fine.
Sweet potato.
Broccoli, kumara, sweet potato. Mushrooms, strawberries, apples. Don't think I tried pear. I think it might have been apple that they rasped along the edges and left the core, which I thought was really interesting. So yeah, I've tried all sorts of various bits and pieces. I don't like feeding cucumber because it makes a heck of a mess. I think cucumber is a very overrated thing to be chucking in your tank. Courgette, on the other hand, is fantastic. So yeah.
So courgette on the screwcumber.
Yeah, absolutely. Goes for gold. So nice little plug.
Yep.
Cool. What hardscape are you potentially looking for? I'll make sure I'm well and truly stocked so you can find some fun stuff to look at. Hey, there she is. Speak of the devil. Hi, Rebecca. Yeah. We were just speaking about you. All positive things, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. Aphid. Yeah. Yeah, that could work pretty well. I tried feeding. I had an ant issue, so I tried feeding ants. Turns out fish don't like ants very much, but I can see aphids working quite well. So yeah. Apparently, ants release like a bitter taste when they're chewed by other animals, which is why fish didn't like them. So all I had was just floating cocoons or floating canoes of ants floating around my tank, as opposed to the fish eating them, which was a shame. So yeah,
that's cruel.
Yeah. Oh, China. We don't have them here. It'd be cool if we did. Yeah, I don't like cockroaches much either, but my frogs absolutely love them. So every time I see them, they go straight into the frog tank, which is a fun time.
Ugh, I'm so glad we don't get them over here.
Do you not get cockroaches over there?
No,
Really?
no, we get wood lice, which are like pill bugs,
Okay.
but they don't curl up. But we don't get proper cockroaches.
I thought,
Similar like earwigs. I don't know if you know what they are. That's probably a very Scottish name for a bug. But an earwig.
no, we get earwigs.
Oh,
Yeah, we get earwigs. Yeah. Well, in my mind, you don't get cockroaches.
yeah.
Why
We've
didn't you
seen
get
plenty
cockroaches?
when we've been on holiday and we call them cucaracha. But no,
I would have, because Scotland's not its own little island. It's all part of Europe, as in joined up.
oh, no, Scotland, England, and Wales are one island.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
I would have thought that there'd be cockroaches in England or Wales or and altogether. That's interesting.
Yeah,
You're blowing my mind.
the climate. I mean, England, South England is a total different climate. Well, it's not total different. It's a lot warmer than it is in Scotland. Scotland, it gets very cold during the winter. So I mean, it's obviously I don't know, but yeah,
but these things can handle like nuclear war and like
but not Scotland.
sprayed with an entire can of fly spray and still live. So how can they not live in because they're a little bit cold?
Too common. Right. Well, you do get the German cockroach, but that's probably down in England. Well, maybe I've just not seen them, but apparently you do get German cockroaches, even as close to me as Edinburgh. But weird.
Cool.
Yeah, German cockroach and Oriental cockroach. I stand corrected.
Yeah. I'd say
Never seen them though.
because mentioned there's invasive Indian stick insects. So I think the way the world can travel now, there's going to be invasive everything's everywhere.
Yeah.
It just is part and parcel of what it is.
We do get snakes up here, Rochelle. Yeah, little adders, and we get slow worms, which I think are like a snake. But grass snake and adders, I think we do get. Adder, I think is it poisonous? You'd call them poisonous or venomous? Venomous.
Venomous.
Yeah.
Cool. What size of the slate rock structures do you want? There's medium ones and now larger ones. I've got a few of the mediums in, but none of the large ones. And same with the JBL Zanzibar substrate. What color do you want? I've got most of them, but I think I'm out of one of the colors at the moment. So if there's any specific color or bag size you're after, I'll make sure I'll get them in for you before you turn up to make that a little bit easier for you. So yeah. The bush cockroaches come in the garage sometimes. Us. Are those bush cockroaches the ones that have got the white streaks around the edges? I think they're from Hawke's Bay. If that's the case, we've got them down here as well. Gross little things. But great frog food. Cool. All right.
We don't celebrate Thanksgiving in Scotland. We have Hogmanay in New Year, but no, Thanksgiving's an American thing.
Yeah.
For now.
Cool. Oh well. Shall we close off this riveting chat about insects and creepy crawlies and Thanksgiving and call it a day?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe they're Hawke's Bay ones, those cockroaches. Yeah, we definitely have them down here. Yeah, they're good frog food, that's for sure. Yeah.
Frogs are like
okay. Then. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll leave everybody to it. I hope you will have a good weekend. Don't forget we are open weekdays 11 until 4:30. Then what time we open, and we close and 10 till 3 on a Saturday. And we currently have 20% off everything on the website until Sunday midnight. So website and in the shop, come and get your fill and take it away. Take it away. Take it away now. Thank you, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Cool. Everybody, have a good one, team. Happy
Right,
fish
take care,
keeping.
guys. Have a good one.
Catch you later.
Bye.